Hi, this is Steve Cook. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard of the Titanic? Of course you have. Now, most people know the ending. The ship hits an iceberg. The ship sinks and more than 1,500 people lose their lives. But very few people know what happened before the collision. You see, the Titanic wasn't some old rusted out ship. It was the most advanced passenger ship in the world. People called it the ship of dreams. It was massive, beautiful, and it was luxurious. And according to many people, it was unsinkable. The passengers were laughing, eating, dancing. Some were even playing cards. Others were drinking champagne. Families were taking photographs. Children were running through the hallways. And nobody was panicking. Nobody was worried. Nobody thought danger was anywhere nearby. Why? Because when everything looks good, human beings assume everything is good. Then at about 11:40 p.m., everything changed. Everything changed. An iceberg appeared. Not a mountain-sized iceberg, not some giant wall of ice that stretched to the heavens just enough to tear a hole in the side of the ship. And once the damage was done, it didn't matter how beautiful the ship was. It didn't matter how expensive the ship was. It didn't matter what people believed. The water was coming in. Now, let me ask you another question. What if retirement has its own iceberg? What if the biggest threat to your future isn't visible right now? What if the reason so many people get blindsided isn't because they're careless? It's because everything looks fine. Today, millions of Americans can log into their retirement accounts and see numbers they've spent decades building. Maybe the balance looks good. Maybe it's the largest number they've ever seen. Maybe they feel relieved, confident, safe. But so did the passengers on the Titanic. And here's the part nobody wants to talk about. When you're 35 years old, you can recover from mistakes. When you're 40 years old, you can recover from mistakes. Even at 50, you still have time. But what happens when you're 63, 65, or 68, or even 71? What happens when a major stock market decline and it arrives and there isn't enough time left to rebuild? What happens when the iceberg appears too late? You see, the Titanic didn't sink because people were stupid. It sank because people believed tomorrow would look exactly like today. And that's the danger. The greatest financial mistakes are rarely made during panic. They're made during comfort. They're made when everything appears to be working. And they're made when nobody believes Anything can go wrong. The passengers never saw it coming. So my question for you is simple. Will you? Because the next video may be the most important one I've made. I'll show you the retirement iceberg almost nobody talks about and why so many good people don't see it until it's too late. I'll see you in the next video.